YouTube channel. Actually, welcome to one of my very first ever YouTube video on this channel. Thank you. I am super excited, and there is actually a video right before this one, but I made that months ago and then I edited it. Actually, I didn't even edit it. I just posted it, and it was like a month ago that I posted it. And I videoed myself on my laptop so that it's not good quality or anything. Now this is much better because I'm filming this on my phone, but it's okay. It's mediocre, but I had a fun time with the tier ranking video. So once I get more experience with editing and videoing, I will definitely be doing more tier ranking videos because I really enjoyed that one and I thought that it was super fun. But I'm going to call this video my first ever official video, and I'm super excited to be launching this off. I'm going to be talking about what books I read in June. It wasn't very many, so I'm going to also include a book haul in this video that I got. My birthday was in June, it was June 18th, so I got a ton of books. I went book shopping, I got them secondhand, I went to like thrift stores and stuff, so yeah, I'm super excited about that. I got a bunch of good books for a great price, and then I'm going to be talking about my July TBR. This has been a little hectic, at least this summer in the past couple months. Been a little crazy, so I haven't had much time to read or anything. But I have a lot of books on my TBR and a lot of books I want to get through, so I will be talking about those. And yeah, I had a good month with reading. I think I read like 5 books this month, which is pretty good because I read like 1 book in the month of May and then 2 books in the month of April. So I've been in a bit of a slump. One thing about me is like I like attach myself to like books really easily, and so like if I read a book and like I don't like it, I will immediately DNF it. Like I won't even really give it a chance, which is probably honestly really bad, but like I don't want to waste my time if I'm not liking something, you know. And then the other thing is like if I like something too much, I like don't think about anything else, and like only that book is embedded into my brain. Like every book pretty much alters my brain chemistry. And so I read the Boys of Tommen series like last year, like started reading it. I'm pretty sure it was like last year, maybe the year before. I can't really remember. I think it might have been the year before because I read Taming 7 last year whenever it came out. But anyways, I read that like series 2 years ago, and I've read that book series like 5 or 6 times since. Like I just cannot get it out of my brain, and every time like I try and open up another book, I just immediately think of those characters, and I want to put myself not into their world because if you know, you know. But the same thing happened whenever I first started reading. I read the Off-Campus series, and I was attached to that series for months. Like I have I make playlists. Like I make a lot of playlists for books that I really enjoyed. And so I have an Addicted Cowboy Sister series playlist, I have a Boys of Tommen series playlist, I have an Off-Campus series playlist, I have a Say You Swear playlist, which is one of my favorite books, I have a Powerless series playlist. So yeah, I have a lot of playlists about books, and I will listen to those playlists nonstop if I'm not reading them. But the Addicted Cowboy Sister series is down here, which I don't think you can see that, but I also attached myself to that series, and I still think about that series every day. I actually have a tattoo on my arm, which I'll put that in the video right after this clip, so. Okay, so to start off this video, I will actually include the 2 books that I read in the month of May, because it was only 2 books, well, I guess finished in the month of May, if that makes sense. So the first one is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. The Powerless series, like I said before, is one of my favorite series ever. I first read Powerless like in January of last year, and then I pre-ordered Reckless like in July, I think, and then that came out. Or wait, did it come out in July? I don't remember. But I pre-ordered that, and I read Powerful and like everything else with it, and it was all so good. I did get the special edition from Waterstones, so like that's what it looks like. It has the pink sprayed edges, and then that's what the actual cover looks like. It's so pretty. And then on the back it says Forever My Undoing, and then here's like the pink sprayed edges and stuff, and the pages are so beautiful, and then it has a pink map in it, and I don't think is that the same map? Yeah, okay, it's the same map. So it has the maps at the beginning and at the end. And then on the inside of the book slip, I forgot what this was called. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But it has this, I don't know why I drew a blank there. But this is from one of the 3 trials that they do in Fearless. And I'm not going to give any spoilers in this book. Just because I don't like getting books spoiled for me. If you read Reckless, the second book in the Powerless series, you know how this book starts. So it starts right after Reckless, and then this book follows Peyton and Kai, and then you have a third POV in this book, which was a little crazy for me. I knew that we were getting a third POV, I just didn't know who it was from. So I really enjoyed this book. I love the banter between Peyton and Kai. I love their chemistry. I love the longing. I love the forced proximity. I love everything, and I love everything about Kai. He is literally a poet, and anything that he says, I'm sat. I will listen. I will read. I will do whatever. So yeah, this book was really good. I gave the whole series altogether 5 stars. I did give this book like 4.5, 4.75. It was really good. I don't know like if I hyped it up too much in my head or what. I obviously still really enjoyed it, but it did take me a minute to get through it. It took me like 3 weeks or something like that, which is kind of a long time because I literally flew through the other 2 books like in like less than like 3 days. And I am kind of a slow reader too. But this book did take me a little bit, and I'm not sure if I just like didn't want the series to end or what, but I did enjoy it. The ending, I want to say like I expected it, but I was also a little caught off guard and stuff. But the ending was really good. There is like a plot twist in this book, and I honestly was not expecting that. I was expecting like something obviously to happen, but I was not expecting the plot twist or anything. So that was really good. And the shoe scene, if you know, Lauren Roberts put it like on her Instagram or something, or her TikTok or whatever, and I was like, okay, shoe scene, whatever. And literally that was like, so I read this on my Kindle, because this didn't come till like 2 weeks later because I ordered on Waterstone, so it came really late. So I read Fearless, like I started reading it on my Kindle, and I finished it in here. And I should honestly show you my Kindle annotations, because that shoe scene, I literally have like 3 paragraphs written just for that shoe scene with my annotations and stuff. And so that scene was really cute. So yeah, altogether I gave the whole series 5 stars, and then this book was like 4.75, which maybe I'll reread it like later. I might do a reread on the whole series, like, and read it all together. So, cause like I first read Powerless, and I had to wait months for Reckless to come out. And then I had to wait like a year for this book to come out. So I think just reading it all together like in the same like time, you know, I think that this one will be higher on my list, but it was a super good book, and I highly recommend you read the Powerless series by Lauren Roberts. Next book I will be talking about is Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. I read this in May, and I'm pretty sure I finished it like at the beginning of June. It took me like 2 to 3 weeks to finish, but it's Releasing 10 by Chloe Walsh. This is the 6th book in the Boys of Tommen series. It comes right after Taming 7. And so if you've read the Boys of Tommen series, you probably have already read this. But the Boys of Tommen series is one of my favorite reads, so I was super excited for this. This book is a very heavy book, not, you know, physically. But it has like a lot of trauma and whatnot. And obviously if you read the Boys of Tommen series, all those books have trauma in them. This book was more of a harder read than the other books, I will admit. This book follows Lizzie and Huey throughout their childhood years and stuff. It starts back in like 1991, I'm pretty sure, and then it goes, the very like last chapter is like basically, I'm pretty sure it's like the start of Binding 13 if I remember it correctly. And so yeah, it follows them through their friendship, their relationship, and everything else. And so honestly, starting this book, I was not a big fan of Huey or really Lizzie. I did like Lizzie, but I thought that she was, you know, a little rude sometimes and stuff. But I obviously knew that something, you know, traumatic happened to her. I just wasn't sure what, you know, that made her like be that way. Because if you know Gibbsy, he obviously had something traumatic happen to him, but he kind of puts on his armor of like humor and stuff, and Lizzie, her armor is just being mean. And so, but that's how people cope, I guess. But after reading this book, I really like the characters. I want to see more of them, especially like in the Boys of Tom and World now, if that makes sense, like leaving off where like Taming 7 left off and stuff. But this book was really good. I liked seeing Huey and like reading about Huey, and how he cared for Lizzie and how he loved Lizzie and stuff. And so I liked watching or reading their dynamic and whatnot. And so I'm really excited for their next book to come out, honestly. This wasn't one of my favorite books out of the Boys of Tom series because that spot is still keeping 13 and then redeeming 6. But honestly, I think this might match redeeming 6. I did like this more than Taming 7, but I just felt like Gypsy and Claire deserved more, if that makes sense. We got to see more of Lizzie and Huey's like backstory and stuff. And so yeah, it was kind of not like a difficult read, but just the fact that like it took place before all of the other books pretty much, I had to put myself like in that time frame, if that makes sense. So it took me a minute to get adjusted to that, but once I did, I ate this book up and stuff. But yeah, I highly recommend the whole Boys of Tom series, and I highly recommend this book. So yeah, you should give it a read. The next book I will be talking about is Promise Me Sunshine by Cara Bastone. I've never heard of this author. I'm pretty sure I got this book recommendation from Sarah Crowley, if I'm saying her last name right. I like watching her on YouTube and stuff. But this book follows Lenny and Miles. Lenny is our main female character, and she's struggling with grief of the loss of her best friend. And so you have to watch her, like, read about her navigating through that. And she has a really hard time. She struggles with that. And then enters Miles, who's our main male character. He's had grief in the past, so like he knows how to kind of cope with it. So he is helping her throughout this book, and just watching their like dynamic and their friendship and everything. I really enjoyed this book. I give it a 4. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 4 stars on Goodreads and stuff. But Miles is kind of like grumpy and I want to say like a little arrogant at first, so like I wasn't like a huge fan of him. But then like watching him like care for Lenny and help Lenny, it just like, I don't know, made me have a soft spot for him and stuff. And he's a great main male character and stuff. And then Lenny's kind of like quirky and whatnot. She doesn't really care what like a whole lot of people think of her and stuff. And I really liked reading that in a female character. And so yeah, this book was really good. I believe she has a second book. I'm not sure if like it's part of a series or anything, but I really want to read the second book, and I probably will because I liked her writing style and whatnot. So yeah, this book was really good, and I highly recommend it. The next book I'll be talking about is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I love a good Emily Henry book. If you can see my little Emily Henry stack right here, which I can add this there now. But this book was really good. This book follows Daphne and Miles. And Daphne, at the start of this book, is engaged to Peter. And they're going to get married and whatnot. And then Miles is in a relationship with Petra. And so Peter, I'm trying to think of the right word. Peter tells Daphne that he is actually in love with Petra. And so he kind of like breaks it off with her. And so Daphne decides to move in with Miles. And Miles at the beginning of this book is, you know, also a little arrogant and stuff. But he just got broken up with. And so they don't really like talk really at the start of this book and whatnot. They just kind of like do their own thing. And so because they're both depressed and whatnot. But kind of towards the middle. And so then Daphne, I'm pretty sure, she has this great plan of fake dating because they get invited to Peter and Petra's wedding. And so they have like this day countdown till the wedding. And so they post together on social media, making them think that they're a couple now and whatnot. So it has fake dating, it has opposites attract, it has forced proximity because they're roommates. and I just really like this book. It also has Friends to Lovers, which I love Friends to Lovers so much. Miles honestly might be one of my favorite male characters Emily Henry has written, and I love Daphne. I love how strong she is. She is a great, strong female main character and whatnot, and I liked reading about their relationship and how, you know, close they've gotten and stuff. And I liked reading about Daphne's friendships that she's built, because she kind of surrounded her life around Peter, and so now that she doesn't have Peter anymore, she can go and like explore and do her like her own things and get her own friends and whatnot. And so I really liked reading about them. I think that they're a great couple, and yeah. And so I really liked reading about them. And yeah, you should definitely read this Emily Henry book if you haven't. Okay, so now I'm gonna give my book haul. Sorry, that's better. Now I'm gonna give my book haul. I went to Barnes & Noble, obviously, and then I went to this indie bookstore and I got like a book. And then I got some books off Facebook Marketplace for pretty cheap. So I'm gonna start with the indie bookstore first. And I got Eleanor and Park from there. It was like $3, I think, $3 or $4, something like that. I've never read this book. I have seen it around and stuff, but it just was kind of like just sitting on the shelf, and it caught my eyes. So I'm not 100% sure on what it's about, but the description in here says Eleanor, red hair, wrong clothes, standing behind him until he turns his head, lying beside him until he wakes up, making everyone else seem drabber and flatter and never good enough, Eleanor. Then it says Park. He knows she'll love a song before he plays it for her. He laughs at her jokes before she ever gets to the punchline. There's a place on his chest just below his throat that makes her want to keep promises. Park. Then it says, set over the course of one school year, this is the story of two star-crossed 16-year-olds smart enough to know that first love almost never lasts, but brave and desperate enough to try. So I like reading young adult and stuff, but I don't typically like read books like in like a high school setting, besides Boys of Tommen. That's like the only exception, but it doesn't really like feel like you're reading it in like a high school setting, if that makes sense. So I think this book will be good. It sounds like it's really like music based pretty much, and I like music, so hopefully, I feel like it's gonna be like, what's that book, that young adult book, Better Than the Movies, I think, where that one's like TV show and like rom-com movie based, I'm pretty sure. So I think it sounds like this one's gonna be like, yeah, like music based, like kind of based around music. Sorry, I just went to this page and that was kind of wild. But yeah, it sounds pretty good, so I'm excited to read it. So that's what I got from the indie bookstore. It is like a little damaged. It just looks like it has like water damage like on the cover, and then up here is just like a little bit and stuff. But I mean, it's not bad. I don't mind getting books like secondhand or really like damaged or anything, but it seems in good condition otherwise. But yes, that's what I got from the indie bookstore. And then off Facebook Marketplace, I got all of these books for $30, which I think that's a pretty good deal. So the first one, I got Most of All You by Mia Sheridan. I love Archer's Voice. That's one of my favorite books. I don't know if you can see it behind me right there, but as you can tell, I have 2 special editions of it. It was really good. I'm not 100% sure on what this book's about either, but I'm pretty sure it's like Archer's Voice. Like, I feel like a lot of her writing is like where, you know, like they kind of have like trauma and like, you know, their lives and stuff, and they meet each other and they help get through it together. But yeah, it says, a broken woman. Crystal learned long ago that love brings only pain. Feeling nothing at all is far better than being hurt again. She guards her wounded heart behind a hard exterior and carries within her a deep mistrust of men who, in her experience, have only ever used and taken. And then it says, a man in need of help. Then Gabriel Dalton walks into her life despite the terrible darkness of his past. There you go. There's an undeniable goodness in him, and even though she knows the cost, Crystal finds herself drawn to Gabriel. His quiet strength is wearing down her defenses, and his gentle patience is causing her to question everything she thought she knew. Crystal and Gabriel never imagined that the world which had stolen everything from them would bring them a deep love like this. Except fate will only take them so far, and now the choice is theirs. Harden their hearts once again, or find the courage to shed their painful past. So, yeah, it sounds like, not like the same exact storyline of Archer's Voice, but it sounds good. It has like that, you know, their troubled dark past and whatnot. And how if love will bring them together. So that sounds really good, and I like her writing and whatnot, so I'm super excited to read this in the future. And I've heard good things about it too. I've seen like good reviews on Goodreads and stuff. So, and then the next book I got is Things We Left Behind. So I'm pretty sure this is the third book in the series. I could be wrong. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the third book, because the first one's Things We Never Got Over, and the second one's Things We Have in the Light. So, fun fact, I don't have either of those two books. I need to get them, and I've been seeing them, like, secondhand, too, and stuff. So, yeah, so this one's just gonna hang out and chill out until I get those two books, or maybe they're on Kindle Unlimited, I'm not sure. But I have heard good things about this. I'm pretty sure it's, like, a small-town romance. Like, I'm pretty sure all these books are small-town romance and whatnot, but I'm not 100% sure on what any of these books are about. But I have heard good things about them, so I'm super excited to read them. And then I got My Life with the Walter Boys. So I watched the first season. I've never read the books or anything, but I watched the first season, and I thought it was pretty good. I'm a sucker for, like, those kind of books, or books and TV shows, I guess. Like, The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's kind of like the same storyline almost, where, you know, the girl has to choose between which brother and stuff. I'm Team Cole, by the way. Don't come for me if you're not. But, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll read it, maybe I won't, but I really like the show, so I might give this a read and whatnot. But yeah, the show is pretty good. If you haven't watched it, you should watch it, or read the book and let me know if it's, like, the same. And then the next book I got is Malibu Rising. I've always wanted to read this, but, like, it's not my typical read, so I've been kind of nervous. But the fact that, like, I don't know how much it is actually, so the fact that I got it, like, secondhand, I feel like that's pretty good, because, like, it's in, like, really good condition too. There's just, like, a little bit of wear down here, but that's it. But yeah, I'm super excited to read this. I kind of want to read it this summer, because I feel like it's a summer book, which I could be wrong, but I don't know, it's set in Malibu, and I'm pretty sure it's, like, on the beach and stuff, so it just seems like a good summer read. So, yeah, let me know if you read this, and let me know if it's good and stuff. So, I'm super excited to read this. Hopefully I can read it by the time summer ends. And then I got Heartless Hunter, which this is a duology. I'm pretty sure the second book is called, like, The Rebel Witch, if I'm correct, and I'm pretty sure that came out a few months ago. But I have been dipping my toes into fantasy, so I'm super excited to read this. It's kind of long, so I'm not going to read it to you, but, I mean, I kind of read, like, a snippet of it on Goodreads and stuff, and it sounded really good, and I really like the Powerless series, so I feel like if it's anything like that, I feel like I'll like it, but I like those duology books and stuff. I actually have two down here, Dance of Thieves and Vow of Thieves, that I've been wanting to read, but I heard that there was, like, a trilogy before that, which you don't have to read, but it kind of, like, sets the storyline, I guess, and, like, the map and stuff, so it just makes more sense whenever you read Vow of Thieves and Dance of Thieves, but I don't think you have to. But anyways, I'm getting off topic now. So, I got a Target gift card for my birthday, so I ended up buying the Windy City series. So I got the first 4 books from Target, when they were doing, like, their buy one get one 50% off sale. So I'm super excited to read these. I love Chicago. I go there all the time, and it has a soft spot. Like, I have a soft spot for it. So I'm super excited to read this, and, like, kind of, like, I don't know if, like, there's any descriptions of the city and stuff, but I know what it's like, so I feel like I'm gonna enjoy these. I did start Mile High, and I know they're interconnected standalones. I don't know if they're all hockey romance books. I know Mile High is. I'm not sure if they're all. Okay. The Right Move is NBA. Mile High is NHL. caught up is MLB, and play along is baseball again. So we have hockey, basketball, baseball, and then so I got those 4 books from Target. So yeah, like I said, sorry, I started Mile High. It's pretty good. I really like reading hockey romance books. Hockey is one of my favorite sports to watch besides football. Go Boston Bruins, by the way. So I'm super excited to read that. The book's been like good so far. I'm like a quarter of the way through, I'm pretty sure. I am kind of in a book slump, so it's taken me a minute to get through it. I'm having like a hard time connecting with the characters, especially the main male character, which I'm pretty sure his name's like Evan Zanders or something. I think her name's Stevie, if I remember correctly. I just started reading it a couple weeks ago, but I haven't like picked it back up in a little over a week, so I'm not 100% sure, but it is pretty good so far. So hopefully I can finish it in the month of July. So I ended up going to Barnes and Noble, and let me grab the other book. I got these 2 books from Barnes and Noble. They're both the special editions. So I've been wanting Keeping 13. I know it came out a few days ago, and so I have Binding 13 in the special edition. I have Keeping 13. It's like the orange sprayed edges, and it's so pretty. I love these special editions so much. And it says boom boom fucking boom, so that's really cute. And yeah, I don't think there's any like detail on the pages. I don't think there's any in that one, Binding 13 either, but I think it's just the sprayed edges and then the artwork in the very like last page. So I got those 2. Sorry, hopefully that doesn't fall. And then I got Rewind It Back. They didn't have, I don't know if this is the only one that's out right now, but this was the only cover that they have. They only had 2 left in store. So this one is like the special edition, and it has the red sprayed edges. Like it's kind of like ombre color, which is really pretty. So yeah, so now I have the complete series, and I'm super excited. I love sports romance, and I've heard such good things about this series. So now that brings me to my July TBR. This series, which I don't know if I'll be able to finish it. Depends if like, oh my gosh, depends how much I really like it. So this series is on my TBR for the month of July, which I kind of started Mile High in June, but if you finish it in July, then it counts, I'm pretty sure. So yes, so I have this series as one of my TBR books, and then the next book that I have is Dishonestly Yours. So I'm a mood reader, so like I have to be in the mood for something to like read it and like finish it. So this is by Krista and Becca Ritchie, which they also have they're the authors of the Addicted Cowboy Sister series and the Like Us series. And so they wrote this book, and so this book's about Phoebe Graves and Rocky, and they're kind of like con artists, I guess you can say. But I'll read you the back of the book. So it says, Phoebe Graves grew up in a family where deception and seduction were as commonplace as breathing. Phoebe's family and the Ten Rock clan, including her best friend Haley, have been on the run their whole lives, but after a high-stakes con job goes south, Phoebe and Haley decide to run away and start over. The small Connecticut town they settle in seems too good to be true. The biggest flaw in their plan is Haley's frustratingly handsome brother Rocky, who insists on coming with them. Living honestly isn't in his DNA, and his past with Phoebe is downright messy. He's everything she wants, but nothing she can have. Phoebe worries that Rocky will tempt them back into their old ways, where lying is second nature. She doesn't want Rocky to mess up the new life she's begun for herself. The longer she stays in town, the more she realizes what it means to have a reputation and what a normal life with the man she loves could look like. So, I started this book whenever it came out. I'm pretty sure it came out last year, if I remember correctly. But I started this book, and then I got like 60% of the way through, and I don't know if like another book that I was waiting for came out or what happened, but the last and final book that I have on my July TBR is Picking Daisies on Sundays. I've seen a lot of good things, and I've heard a lot of good things about this book. It seems just like a really cute, fast-paced read. And so yeah, I did start it. I think I started it like in May whenever I bought it. It says I'm on page 20. So obviously I'll probably restart it because I don't really remember much about it. But I think it's like a Friends to Lovers if I'm correct, which I could be totally wrong. But it seems like a really good book. Let me read it to you. Daniela Daisy Maria wanted love. It's all she hoped for when watching endless rom-coms every Friday night. What she hadn't hoped for was to find it in her childhood best friend Levi. It was the hand-trembling, heart-thumping kind of love that wasn't supposed to happen when you saw your best friend. But it all ended when he didn't feel the same way and she vowed to never see him again. That sounds good. 4 years later, and one night in a crowded bar in the West Village, there he was just as perfect as ever. Maybe it was the lighting or the way his hair curled above his brow, but she couldn't say no when he asked her to be his fake girlfriend for his sister's wedding. Fake dating? I love that. Another chance at being his friend and mending her immature mistake. How was she supposed to say no? The weight of possible rejection from her dream grad school quickly became the least of her problems. With old, resurfacing feelings at every stage, romantic interaction, stolen glance, she struggles to find confidence. She couldn't help but think that maybe she should have said no to protect her heart for a second time. This sounds good. I've been seeing a lot of good reviews and stuff about it, so I'm super excited. I did want to finish this in May because I see it it feels like a more of a May book than a summer book. I don't know why, it just does, but the cover's super pretty. But I really want to pick this up and finish it this summer because it sounds really good, and I was enjoying it. Like I said, I'm a mood reader. I have to be in the mood to read these books. So I have a lot of books. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books on my July TBR, which actually isn't too much, but when you work full time and stuff, it can get kind of crazy. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and let me know what other videos you guys want to see. Catch you in the next one. Bye guys.